Righty, so if you want to set yourself up into a space that works for you, and we're going to focus on our breath first of all, come down into body, come down from busy mind, coming down, deeper down into body. Let's spread out through your toes, relax through your feet and your ankles. We've got about hip width in there. You can use your feet as a little gauge of that. It's going to be roughly about hip width. You could take them wider if that feels more comfortable. And then bend through your knees. And that hip width distance just really helps to protect your knees. And it ensures that you encourage an alignment through your hip joints. Then we're going to bring the pelvic floor muscles into gentle engagement through there, bringing the tailbone closer to the ground. And with that, you might find that belly button comes back and up on diagonal slightly. And then we can lift through rib cage, an inch or two. Bring the shoulders all the way forward to bring them up. Roll them back. Let them widen out, gently releasing down to the ground. This chest open, heart open positioning. Bring the shoulder blades together, slide them down your back, even more than before. Bring the chin back into alignment with the rest of the spine, crown of the head to the sky, tailbone sinks down deeper towards the ground. Take a deep breath in. Feel that connection with the ground. Feel yourself held, supported by solid ground. And we can begin to bring a gentle sway to the hips as they come out through one side, through center, to the other side. Center, slide. Center, slide. Center, slide. Center, slide. Nice. Slide all the way through. We can make that movement a little bit faster if you want to. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can bring the hands into genie pose if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Faster if you want to. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we shift speed, you might notice the focus of muscles that are being used shift slightly. So when we do that movement big and slow, we feel all the superficial larger muscle groups working. External obliques, erector spinae end at the back, and your abdominals. Whereas here, you're also going to feel those deeper, more intricate muscles, and almost an internal movement takes place as well as that exterior. So not only can you see the movement on your own body, but you can feel it as well. So let's just take a moment. We're just going to bring our hips into center, hold them steady in center. And now just take a moment to focus on that internal movement. So we're going to bring the hip out to the side, and it's almost imperceivable from the outside, but using those deeper internal muscles, we take it to the right, take it left, right, left. So you're squeezing and utilizing through those muscles. So on one side you're lengthening, on the other side you're strengthening. And we can make that a little bit bigger, this time activating more of those large muscle groups. And so then you find you're working both the internal muscles and also those larger ones. Do you feel the difference? Hopefully you do. If it's very, very subtle for you at the moment, Just as you go through your belly dance journey, you will begin to notice these things more prominently. And we're going to anchor through the hips. This time we're going to utilize the muscles of low legs, the thighs, and pelvic floor. We're going to use those muscles to hold us anchored soft but strong in that basic stance so that we can then slide through the upper half into center. Here we go, slide in through center, slide in center. Let's try that all the way through. So we're going to slide, 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 slide. And you're going to keep the hips steady there with that gentle activation. So naturally, you're probably going to want to feel like you're kind of gripping onto the ground with your toes. You can stay a little bit active through those spread out toes if you want to, and that can help ground you as well. But it doesn't need to be a real strong contraction. It can just be a little soft engagement through there. As we slide out to side, if you want, you can bring this fluid flowing arm all the way down. Whee! Let's have a little look at the technique of that. So what we're doing is rolling the shoulder forwards, bring it up, bring it all the way back, and down. A little bit faster here. So we're going to roll forwards, up, back, down, forwards, up, back, down, forwards, up, back, down. Well done. And then we're going to add in the upper arm, up, back, down, forwards, up, back, down. And then your elbow is going to want to join that little party. So the elbow comes up to the sky and it comes round and down to the floor. It's almost like it makes a little semicircle there, a little oval shape. And then the forearm comes into the movement. And it's a flow of energy that channels all the way from belly through your chest to your shoulder, your upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, through to your hands, and all the way through to your fingers and fingertips. Other side, forwards, up, back, down, 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 forwards, up, back, down. Ooh, that feels good, doesn't it? Ooh. And then we can add in the movement of the upper arm on that side. And the elbow then takes that semicircular motion. And then your forearm follows and it flows through all the way down through to the wrist, to your fingers, the fingertips. Let's come through one side and then through the other. So just before one side finishes, the other one starts. Now, one of the things when you bring both sides into motion, one of the things to think about is those shoulder blades. You want to keep them, again, together, slide them down your back. They will want to creep upwards and separate, and before you know it, you'll be like up here like this, and that feels kind of weird, and you might crunch those muscles, and it looks a bit weird too. We're gonna lengthen all the way through neck, release the shoulders to the ground, shoulder blades, they come together and they slide down your back, and in that position there, you're free to allow that energy to flow all the way to your fingertips. Whee! Flowing through like warm water. Flowing through like blossoms gently dancing their way off the trees. Do one and then the other, slightly quicker succession. You can take that movement to full size Egyptian arm, or you could make that movement more of a lateral raise out to the side and make it small in here, and it becomes a movement known as snaky arms, and make it faster and faster and faster and faster. And then before you know it, you're saying, wowie, wow, 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 that is very, very toning for shoulders and arms. It's also toning for your upper back, your chest. That looked amazing. So we can combine that with a slide and a figure of 8 with the rib cage. So that slide motion we had with the rib cage, where the rib cage comes directly out to the side, back into center. It comes out to the side, to center, to the side, into center. Well, what we're gonna do this time is we're gonna just flow with that natural sway that might want to occur. And we're gonna lengthen through the waist more as we come almost into a sort of a side bend that you might do in a stretch. So you're gonna feel an element of stretch in there. You're gonna lift upwards through the rib cage and bring the rib cage down towards the ground. On the other side, you're gonna slide in that slide motion that you did whilst elevating upwards to lengthen, bring it down. So it's like you took an 8 and turned it on its side, and you're creating that shape with your rib cage. And then what we can do, if we try here, we can flow with that movement. So it comes rib cage, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, belly, chest, shoulder, elbow, wrist, and hand. Okay, I'll work out how to figure that into 8 weeks. Belly, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand. That works. Belly, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand. Belly, shoulder, elbow, wrist, and hand. So it comes all the way up and over and down towards the ground. And then you've got that slide element upwards on diagonal and all the way around and down. You can bring your head into it as well if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can make that real slow as we did, or if you would like to, you can speed that up a little. And make it really fluid and join it all together. Doesn't that feel good? Help yourself to a little spot of hydration. Always really, really good to keep the muscles topped up with good quality hydration. Something like a filtered water, herbal tea, really, really excellent for during your dance practice. And then let's take that figure of 8 movement that we did just through our rib cage a moment ago, and let's bring that down into our hips. Okay, so we've been working with that slide element through the hip, bringing the hip out to the side, to the side, to the side, 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 nice, side. So we're going to be working still with the slide motion. Wee! That looks so good. Well done, everyone. So what we're going to do this time, let's make this a vertical figure of 8. So it's going to travel up and down. You could dance this flat against the wall or against the mirrors behind me. So we're going to use our knees as the lever for this movement. The knees are going to be what enables it to travel up and down. So again, we're going to think about an 8. So we draw an 8 and then turn that 8 on its side like that. And then imagine marking that 8 out on you with your hips. So we're going to bend through one knee, and it's a really, really big bend to allow the waist to lengthen all the way through there. And then you're going to bend even more into that space as you begin to extend and push upwards and outwards, all of the way around. And on the other side, you're going to bend through your knee, lengthen through the waist here as you come down, bring it all the way upwards. So let me just show you what that looks like here. So we're going to come into center. So you're going to bend, extend. So you're never fully extending through your knee in, I would argue, any belly dance movement, because if you love your knees, they're going to carry you through life. And so it's really, really important that we honor and respect the knees. So always maintain a little bend through your knees. But in this movement, let me show you from the side. There's a huge bend. 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 And again, hips remain in neutral, tailbone to the ground. Don't force that though, but you want to gently guide your tailbone in the direction of the ground. And that's going to ensure that you don't crunch the muscles of your back. If we weren't conscious of the positioning of the hips in alignment with the spine, then what would happen is the hips would probably tilt like this. In about 80–90% of the population, this is the case. So we would tilt around like this, and then as soon as you did that, you're going to crunch the muscles of back. So we're going to tuck under, use pelvic floor muscles to hold you there, and bend through the knees. Here we go, bend, extend, bend, extend, bend, extend, bend, extend. Nice. Bend, extend, bend, extend. We're going to anchor through our upper half. Try to keep the upper half steady in center. Well done. Nice. Well done, everyone. Looking good. Looking strong, but also soft. And it's a really soothing movement when you really get into flow with it. When you allow it to flow. So there's a certain element at the beginning of thinking lots about the biomechanics of the movement. How are you creating the movement? And there's a lot to think about because it's a compound movement with lots of directions. Lots happening throughout the body. But then actually after a while of focusing on the biomechanics of it, you can begin to just really quieten your mind, come down into your body and allow it to flow. And I'll let you decide right now if you'd like to make that movement big or small, if you'd like to work with it fast or slow. Tune into what feels right for you right now, in this very moment. Try to keep your heels flat on the floor. There's lots of variations of this movement, and there's lots of layers that we can add on top. But in its most basic form, try to keep your heels on the floor. You could frame that if you want to with some gorgeous hands and arms in flow with what we did a moment ago. Bring it into center here, bring it back to a slide. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, anchor. We're going to take it up top. So this time we're going to anchor through the hips and slide through the rib cage. Yes. And then we can bring that movement, that figure of 8 through the rib cage, with or without the fluidity of arms. If you want to, you can work just with the rib cage right in here. And remembering the shoulder blades together, slide them down your back, relax through your neck, lengthen through your neck. And if you want to, you can add in that shoulder roll. basis for that hand and arm movement we did from the side. Looking like this. So adding that shoulder roll to the figure of 8 through the chest. Slow that down. Wow. There you are. You take the hands wide. Yes. Well done. And 4, 3, 2. We're gonna anchor up top. Slide. Slide. Oh, wow. Figure 8 through the hips. Nice. Bend through your knees. Keep your hips in neutral. A bit faster if you want to. Try keep the heels flat on the floor. So you've got that slide element, that basic slide, and then we added the vertical element with the work of the knees. Woohoo! Help yourself to a little spot of hydration, and then let's have some fun with some shimmies. Woo! Alrighty. So let's work on a single leg. We're gonna bring one foot slightly in front of the other. Bend through that supporting leg, tuck the hips under, lift through your ribcage. Shoulders come all the way around and down. Chin, crown of the head, tailbone, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, so that's us fueling the muscles in order to use them. You're gonna lift your hip all the way up, so you've shortened the space here, and then you're gonna release those muscles, and you're gonna allow the knee, more importantly than that, you're gonna allow the knee to drop, release. So we're here, and we're gonna lift and drop. Lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift, drop, lift. Bit faster if you want to drop, 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 whee, drop. Use pelvic floor muscles. Keep the muscles back, long, lean, relaxed. Drop, 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 yes! That looks amazing. Drop, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2. Try the other side. So you're gonna set yourself up that lovely framework on the other side. One foot slightly in front of the other. There's no weight on there. We're gonna bend. Hips are neutral. Use pelvic floor muscles. Relax through your back. Shoulder blades together. Slide them down your back. Ready? And lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. Whee! Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. That's amazing. Well done. Drop. Lift. Drop. Lift. A bit faster if you want to. Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. So we're going to emphasize the drop here. Drop. 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 Woo! Nice. Let's bring it parallel. Feet parallel in alignment. Spread out through your toes. Bend through your knees. Tuck your hips under. Lift your ribcage, shoulders. Chin, crown of the head, tailbone. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to take exactly the same movement mechanism, but we're going to bend one side then the other. So it's going to alternate from one side of your body right across to the other. And like we said a moment ago, at all times, keep a bend through both knees. So you're working to increase the bend through the knees and reduce the bend through the knees. But you never want to completely lock out your knee. Always keep it soft. And hips are tucked under. Drop 2, 3, 4. 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 Exactly the same movement pattern. Now relax through your upper half as you go into that. Quite a weird concept at first if you're not familiar with it. Let's try that. Let me come a little bit closer. So this time we're going to drop, 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 drop. Building it up, drop, 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 drop. Relax through your upper half. Well done. Well done. You feel that working through your thighs. Wow. Well done. Next time we are going to have a little focus in. Oh, we've done lots tonight. Told you so. I knew we were going to aces it. That was fun. So next week we're gonna have a look at shoulder shimmies. We're gonna place them in alignment with hip shimmies. Basic hip shimmy, basic shoulder shimmy. Really, really delicious combinations can come from both of those. Help yourself to some hydration. Let's have a lovely cool down stretch. That was so good. Wow. Coming into basic stance, deep breath in. Reaching up towards the sky. Bring the crown of the head upwards, tailbone to the ground. Feel your toes press into the ground. Lift and lower your heels just a few times as you gradually bring your arms down by your side. And bring your arms down to release. Relax through your shoulders. Encouraging a connection with the ground. If you want to, you could speed that up a little. Or not. Nice. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, hands come upwards, bring them down. Deep breath in. And breathing out, release. This time we're going to bring one hand round to frame belly, one to frame our face. We can lean in a nice, delicious side bend. Releasing all the way through waist. All those gorgeous figures of 8 that we just did. If that was your first time doing figures of 8, well done. They are tricky at first, but there's lots to give. Take a deep breath here. If you want to, you can take that on a diagonal. And that just helps release through your low and mid back, just in case your hips weren't fully in neutral. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, let's come back into center. And then we're gonna unwind and take that to the other side. Knees are soft, hips are tucked under. We've got a bend through knees. Let's take it across to the other side, lengthening through the waist. Because sometimes the alignment to our hips can be the trickiest part, actually, in your belly dance journey, because it's something we're not really conscious of on a day-to-day basis. And so finding your neutral through your hips can be tricky at first. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, let's take that onto diagonal. So this is a gorgeous stretch to do. Just release through all of those muscles, through the back and through waist, and gradually return back into center. And you can do that in the coming days as well, if you feel that might be beneficial. Let's bring the shoulders forwards, bring them up. back and down. We're going to bring our hands together. We're going to clasp them behind you. If that's tricky, you can bring your elbows together. You can use the mirror behind me to see what I'm doing there. We're going to come back on diagonal and just lift up slightly through there. And that's going to open up through the front of your chest and through your shoulders, the front of your shoulders, and release that. And then bring your hands up to the side, thumbs on top. We're going to keep the shoulders low and wrap our arms around. Give yourself a gentle hug. I'm going to be careful not to squeeze the mic. The mic gives you some sound interference, but what you're going to do, if you look in the mirror behind me there, you're going to grip arm round behind you, and that's going to give you this lovely releasing stretch through the back of your shoulders and through upper trapezius, that kite-shaped set of muscles, through your neck, shoulders, your upper back. We can release that through there. Bring your hands back down into center. You can lift your rib cage, roll the movement down, bend through your knees, and tilt your hips into neutral. Let's do 2 more of those. I'm going to lift up, roll down. This is really wonderful for your digestive system. It is, of course, a real slow, controlled camel. Lift up, roll down. Wow. And one for good luck. Crossing hands in front, placing one hand on heart space, one hand on womb space. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, tuning into how you feel now, home within your own sacred space, your own body. Bringing palms together. Thank you so much. Woohoo! Love you. Well done. Wow.